G'day ladies and germs, Conor here from Dubs Media, back with another video, and today we're doing a review on the Padmate S30. That's right, their new bone conduction technology wireless headphones. So without further ado, hit the like button and the subscribe button, and let's get stuck into the video. Let's go. I've been testing these out. I've been testing them out for 2 weeks. I've been in isolation with them. I've been out running with them. I've been at home doing workouts with them, cycling with them, and just generally wearing them around the house and while out walking. And I've got to tell you, it's a different experience. I've normally always had some sort of earbud in my ear or over my ear, but never next to it, conducting music through my bone. So it's different, but it's worth checking out. Now to start off with, these are Bluetooth version 5.0 and come with a 150 milliamp hour battery. That's about 8 hours of talk time or about 3 to 4 hours of continuous use of music time. I've charged them once in 2 weeks and my workouts last for 1 to 1.5 hours, and they seem to keep up with that theory of 3 to 4 hours of use. They are IPX5 water resistance, which means you can get a little sprinkle on them here and there, but not too much. Probably wouldn't run in a cyclone with them. Definitely wouldn't go swimming with them on, but they can take a little bit of water, which is good. It's better than nothing. And they're not rated for dust, which just means they haven't been tested against dust, but they're probably to some degree dust proof as well. They're USB Type-C and take 1.5 hours to charge. Now they don't have a charging case, obviously they're pretty big. They just come with the cable, so you just plug it into your normal USB-C charger and they'll charge pretty quickly. I think it's about 1.5 hours to charge fully. They do come in 4 colors of black, green, gray and white, so a bit of choice there for you sporty types. And Padmate proudly says that they're good for hiking, jogging, walking, cycling, mountain biking, just anything where you're sort of out of the water and keeping active. That's what they're putting their claim to, and my review holds up to some of these, so we'll get into that shortly. Now they do also come with 360 hours of standby time. I don't know how they worked that out, but that's their claim. And I have to say, look, I just leave them sitting around a fair bit and they don't tend to go flat while sitting around. So take them off at 80%, use them a day later, turn them on, they're still at 80% according to Android version 12. I have not had any Bluetooth connection problems with these. Unlike Android 12, I'm currently using the Pixel 6 and I have lots of Bluetooth problems with that, but not with the Padmate S30s, so that's nice to know. Getting into the sport side of things, I guess I should talk about the comfort. Now these are made with like a TPU, so a hard type of plastic. They are soft here on the orange parts that do touch your face. It's soft plastic, and then the outside is hard plastic. And these orange parts here are hard plastic as well. And then you've got soft plastic again around the band. These are made of flexible titanium alloy, which gives it that flexibility to bend and not distort. So it doesn't matter if you sit on them or crush them or throw them in your gym bag, they're not going to get bent out of shape because of what they're made of. So I do find that really good. And then they got that plastic outside, which gives you that bit of comfort that goes around the back of your head. 1 to 1.5 hours of use, I do not feel any discomfort or pain. Maybe if you wore them for 2-3 hours, you might get some of that. I think at the 1 to 1.5 hour mark, I was starting to notice them, but I certainly wasn't getting any discomfort or pain. And I would get that same sensory feeling after 1.5 hours of wearing any headphones. So nothing out of the normal here. Okay, so I've done a fair bit of running with the Padmate S30s, and to date, I have not had any problems. I thought these were going to bounce around on my head an awful lot, but they did not. They sat comfortably on my ears, like so, and I was wearing them with sunglasses and a hat, and they were not in the way of anything. So somehow they just seemed to fit nicely, as you can see, and the glasses or sunglasses had no interference whatsoever. There was at one point, I could hear a little bit of a tap. I think it was the glasses just tapping on the side, but that only happened once for a very short period. And the funny thing is, it could have been anything because I didn't realize that I was hearing the whole outside world as I was running and listening to music. It took a little bit of getting used to. A couple of times I got a fright because I wasn't expecting to hear so much. And I would hear something behind me and it would give me a bit of a startle. So it was an adjustment period getting used to having these open ears whilst running. The only thing I did notice is once I turned them up, say over 70%, then other people could start to hear them. But below 70%, no one could hear any music. They didn't know whether I was listening to music or not. They might think you couldn't hear them, but I could hear everything around me, which I found really good, especially for the type of running I do. So I live in the capital city, Brisbane, and I do a lot of running and cycling. There's a lot of traffic around when I do it. And I'm always sort of going with the flow and not paying attention to my surroundings. And you'll see everywhere in Brisbane, there's crosses everywhere from cyclists that have been hit by cars. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to stop that, but it'll give me more awareness of what's happening around me. Maybe it won't let me just cross the road without knowing what's coming, because I'll be able to hear more. I definitely think they have a spot in the market, and especially due to the safety that they offer cyclists and runners who run out in the urban environment and are often challenged with other cyclists and cars and trucks and that sort of thing. So running, they didn't move, they didn't fall off, they didn't come uncomfortable. Definitely would recommend them. Now, another area where I was using them was on the back patio to do circuit training while I was in quarantine. I wasn't allowed out, but I had children in the house. I wanted to know what was going on inside while still enjoying my music. So I was wearing these and doing my circuit training of star jumps, push-ups, sit-ups, that sort of thing. And I could always hear the S30s did not budge. Sit-ups, they did not budge. I thought having them hanging off the back of my head, they might move and fall back. They didn't. And these are not tight. You can see these are quite loose. They are very flexible and very loose, but they did not fall off at any stage. So I was impressed with that. I would recommend these for that. Now, I was impressed that they didn't fall off, given that they've got all this movement within them, and that movement allows for a comfortable fit and for like a one size fits all. But for my skinny head, they didn't fall off. And then the other area where I used them was cycling, and I did a couple of 30k bike rides with these on, and I did not have any problems there either. Look, cycling, you're not really bouncing up and down a lot, so there's a lot less movement. So I didn't have to worry about them coming off at all there. With the cycling, I think I really found that they gave me a lot more safety, because cycling is the dangerous one. Cycling is where you're on the road with other vehicles and you want to be able to hear what's coming. And there was a couple of times where I could hear some trucks coming behind me and I got off the road or just moved over into a bit of a safer spot. Now, I wouldn't have done that if I was wearing some of those active noise cancelling headphones, because they actually block the noise of those vehicles, and that makes it less safe to be on the road. So as a cyclist, I really appreciated these, and I'm actually going to be using these to do my cycling all the time now. That safety, that level of safety is just too important to ignore. And I didn't realize this until I wore these, and then I noticed like, hey, I'm not hearing a lot of things when I'm using traditional earbuds. It's still nice to have that representation of the real world around me while I'm still listening to the music that I love while exercising. Now, I just mentioned that when I have the volume over 70%, you can hear the music outside of me. And that's also when it becomes a little bit distorted, like most headphones around this price point. Over 70%, 80%, you can start to get a bit of tinniness coming in. And I did notice that here as well. This is a very cheap price point, so you do have to consider that. You know, this is not an $800 pair of bone conduction headphones. This is a $60 pair of bone conduction headphones. And at that price, links down below, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you do use my link, I do get a cut. And I should point out, these were sent to me by Padmate to review. I've reviewed some of their gear before. They've never given me money for it. What I do get is a little bit of a kickback if you use my link to purchase these. So please, if you're gonna pick a pair up, use my link, help me out. Doesn't matter where you are, you'll be helping me out. Now, for your lows, mids, and highs, I found that they were fairly well represented across all ranges. There's no magic here when it comes to the sound. It's more about having safety while you're exercising, and the sound's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not brilliant. So definitely worthwhile. I don't have a problem with the sound when I'm running. I think maybe they get a little bit tinny a little bit too soon, but for the lows and the mids, I found they were fairly good most of the way through. It's just that high end, that high pitch end where it starts to get a little bit loose over that 70-80% volume. Really easy to use. There's a little light indicator here that can tell you when they're in pairing mode or on or off, because there's no light there if they're off. And that button there is your pause play button as well. But you know what? I found you use that less. That's a feature, yeah? So you don't have to play with them as much while you're using them. It's just, you can hear what's happening. You know, people come up to me and start talking to me, and I just forget that I can hear them. I automatically would go to pause it, but you actually don't need to with the Padmate S30. Setting them up was really easy as well. I mean, it's just a matter of holding the power button on until they go into pairing mode, then connecting via your Bluetooth on your phone. Zero issues with the connection, zero issues with the setup, zero issues with the day-to-day use. So if you're looking for a good quality pair of bone conduction technology headphones, then these might be in your basket to consider. Again, if you do consider these, use my links down below. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Check ya!